Hello everyone, I am Dr. Rashid Hassan, founder and CEO of DentoScope, Institute of Research and Advanced Dentistry. And today I am joined by a very renowned speaker, a trainer, Dr. Abbas Naqvi, who is very well known for his training and his international speaking regarding the Canadian students who wish to, like Pakistan students who wish to work in Canada, and that is, let's just, today I am joined by a very renowned speaker, a trainer. Let's just talk to Dr. Abbas. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Very well known for his training.
Walaikum assalam, sir.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Okay. First of all, I would like you to please give your introduction to the audience who are waiting for your interview.
Well, my introduction is kind of part of my presentation, and I've basically I've created a space for myself within dentistry, but outside of clinical dentistry, even from the starting of my career. So I've always been into media, marketing, communication, education, training, and all these aspects that go side by side with the clinical dentistry that eventually lead you to be a better practitioner. So details and specifics I will mention when I start. Obviously, I've been involved in dental news in Pakistan. I was working for 3M as a scientific marketer. Then in Canada, I started in the marketing space, and later on I founded and I'm still currently managing a dental training center whereby we train and educate foreign trained dentists from all across the world to appear in and write their Canadian licensing exams. And most recently, me and my wife, Dr. Sultana, we've acquired a dental office, and now we're just working on these projects and trying our best to help others get a better start and not to face the problems that we faced in our journey.
Yeah, that's really nice. I had been seeing all the activities that you had been conducting over the past few years or so. You are, Alhamdulillah, you are doing pretty good job. And for all those who wish to enter Canada and practice dentistry there, so you are a role model for them.
Thank you.
Mashallah.
Thank you.
So I'm afraid the presentation, I don't know why it is not visible.
Is it not showing on YouTube either?
No, it's not showing on YouTube right now.
Let me double check. Yeah, it's not showing.
So we can.
Do you want me to should I log out and log back in or something?
We can just talk about it. You can. Isn't it the much better way that you can?
What I suggest is that depending on if your audience wants to ask questions.
Yeah, obviously.
Regarding their specific confusions, because that would address their questions better.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main. You can say.
When we go through a structured presentation, not all parts are relevant to everyone. So it's better to have them ask their questions and maybe address directly.
Yeah, that's going to be much better. So before any one of them ask question, how do you would like to progress today's interview? Like, if let's suppose if there is a fresh graduate who has recently graduated from Pakistan, and he wants to practice dentistry in Canada, what should be the first thing he should be doing, in your opinion?
So you see, I start from usually I take one step back. And I suggest people first you need to decide two things. First is, where do you want to live? Do you want to continue because it's not that in Pakistan you don't have a life or you don't have any opportunities. There are opportunities are always available for the person who wants to explore them and do something. So for them,
Exactly.
opportunities are always there.
Exactly.
Secondly, you need to understand one more thing, that postgraduate education is a very good thing, but it is not mandatory for every. It's not a measure of your success. It is not a measure, and it is not a determinant of your success. Your success in life does not depend upon what specialist, whether you are a specialist or a general practitioner, or what specialty are you in. So in Pakistan, unfortunately, people are led to believe certain things that are not true.
Exactly.
So, in my opinion, again, I think I should give a disclaimer. This discussion is my observation, my opinions, and I think I've seen a wide variety of circumstances to be able to come to a conclusion or opinion. So, in Pakistan, because of so many colleges needing faculty,
Mm-hmm.
so everyone wants to promote post graduation, because not because it benefits you, because they want faculty. You have to
Exactly.
understand that they are promoting postgraduate education, specialist education, not because of how it will benefit you, because they want faculty. You spend 3 to 5 years doing some sort of specialization. What are you getting paid during that time? It's like peanuts. And then after you complete your post graduation, what you're working towards is just is just a job in someone else's business. If you would have spent 3 to 5 years working on your own business, which is your practice, and keeping yourself updated by continuing education, you would have been either at the same place or much ahead.
Much better. Yeah.
So that's, let's get that out of the way first. The second thing is, for Canada, you need to understand two things. You have two problems. If you are a dentist, and I will just quote you as an example, Dr. Rashid, okay?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
Dr. Rashid wants to go to Canada, he has two problems. His problem number one is, how will he go to Canada? And problem number two is, what he will do there.
Exactly.
These are two separate processes that are independent of one another. They are not connected.
Exactly.
And they have to be addressed separately. So the first problem, how will you go to Canada? Namra has a question. Is Canada a good place for someone with a family? Of course, it's one of the best places. So, so how will you get there? There are 2 to 3 ways, different ways. You can get there by immigration. You can go there on a study permit. You can go there as a visitor. Those
Okay.
are the only 3 ways to get there. So sort
Exactly.
out this process separately, find out an answer to this question, and then look for the answers to what will you do there or how will you do there. Can we work in Canada if we have a degree of MPhil oral pathology from Pakistan? Dr. Rashid, I will appreciate if you can please keep a record of these questions,
Yeah. Yeah. I am. I am. Yeah. Don't
and
worry.
we will answer. These are random questions. I will answer them, but at the end.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Sure.
or somewhere in the middle. But when I'm going on my rant, I won't stop and get distracted. So after you solve this question of how will you go to Canada, then you try to understand that what's the system. Now the system in Canada, you have to understand that there is a practice environment, clinical practice environment, and there is the education environment. Most opportunities are in the practice environment. There are less than 10 universities in Canada. So you cannot dream of immediately getting hired in a university and becoming a big shot. If you are a big shot, even in Pakistan, you are no one in Canada. So,
Obviously.
so you have to go through the first thing that Canadians require is for you to get some Canadian education and training.
Mm-hmm.
So, for those who are choosing the study path to come to Canada, now here's the connection. What path are you choosing to come to Canada? If you're choosing immigration, you will be a permanent resident. And then if you want to practice, you have to go through 3 licensing exams, rather 4. And but you have to start the process before you come to Canada. You have to try to start the process because these days it's closed. So there's 3 to 4 exams that you need to write, and then you can become a directly licensed practitioner. The second path is to write the first exam of the 3 licensing exams and then seek admission in one of the dental schools in an advanced placement program that you will go through for about 3 years, 2 to 3 years, and then you get a DDS and you can practice. So that's the second path. This is for permanent residents. People who come on a study visa first have to choose a program that can get them a visa. Now that program, consider that program as your visa to come to Canada. May or may not have anything to do with your career. It can be a master's program in public health. It can be a master's in health management. It can be a master's in healthcare informatics. It doesn't have to be a master's. It can be a college program, because there are 2 streams of education: college stream and university stream. So in college stream, there are certain programs you can choose: dental office admin, healthcare management. It can be a diploma, it can be a certificate, it can be a degree, whatever. You can choose as an international student to go for a college program or for a university program. For a diploma, for a certificate, for a degree, for a master's, whatever.
That acts as your entry to Canada, the first thing.
Exactly. Consider it as a visa. It may or may not direct relation to your career, but you're just solving problem number 1 here. So, and then you have the second problem is, what are you going to do? So you have to decide if you want to practice, if you want to go into research, and then you take that path. If you want to practice, you have the equivalency process. It's called the equivalency process. You take the path of the equivalency process. And if you want to go into academics or any other path, then you go for a master's. And that's how you enter the system.
Okay, first thing first.
Yeah.
Good.
So now I can answer one of the questions. I think it was MPhil oral pathology.
Okay, so the first.
So for MPhil oral pathology, you might be able to get an initial teaching position in a university. You might be able to do that. And you have to explore yourself of who will accept you, because obviously we're not sitting in the universities, but you might be able to get into teaching. Of course, it has no connection with practice, so you cannot really practice with an MPhil oral pathology. You might be able to teach, and depending on how are you coming to Canada, what's your status? If you don't have a status situation in Canada, then you might want to look for first a program that you get admission in, then come to Canada as a student and then pursue your life here. Or if you're coming as an immigrant and you're already on PR, you can explore teaching opportunities in the universities. But it's a bit, as they say, someone has to die for you to get in.
Yeah.
You know, the opportunity, if there's only 6 or 7 universities in the whole country, and you probably have more dental schools in just Karachi or Lahore, you know, in that one city than this place has in a country. So that's why they say someone has to die for you to get in.
Well, what I think, Dr. Abbas, that what Miss or Dr. Namra, which she means is that if she gets a degree in MPhil oral pathology from here, from Pakistan, would it be accepted in Canada? I don't think so. What's your
As
opinion?
what? You have to define it. Accepted as what?
As if she wants to work in a faculty in some university, she can't really practice there, right? With MPhil.
She cannot practice there. No,
Yeah.
she cannot practice there. She might be able to get a teaching appointment.
Teaching appointment, exactly. But is that MPhil is going to be enough to get any teaching appointment there in Canada?
You see, in Canada, let's talk about nomenclature, what we call something,
Hmm.
right? So in Canada, every teacher is called a professor. Okay,
Right.
every if you're a teacher, you're a professor. That's the word that they use. So
Okay.
so let's get that demonstrator, registrar, senior registrar, assistant professor, associate professor. That system, that is, we are the slaves of that system.
Hmm.
Our minds are slaves of that system. Blah blah. I am this. I am that. I know many incapable professors, and I know many talented demonstrators.
Yeah,
Many
exactly.
demonstrators who are better than those professors. So let's not go into what we call them. That's why
Yeah,
I'm saying teaching appointment, whatever that is.
yeah,
So,
right.
but yes, uh, you can be a junior faculty member. Maybe
Uh,
they might call
Maybe,
it a lecturer, or
yeah,
an instructor, or non-clinical instructor kind of thing, because there are many foreign trained dentists who do get junior position appointments. Um,
so it means that it totally depends upon that university who is hiring you as a faculty member,
by
right?
and large, they obviously they prefer their local trained. So maybe once you are in there, you get your foot in the door. Maybe you want to do that program in that university,
Hmm.
so that you can be better equipped for their senior faculty position.
Okay,
A
okay.
lot of things, Dr. Rashid, in Canada, they are not set in stone. Not everything is a um, is a system. Over here, as much as there are parts of the system that are very systemic, and there are parts of the system that are not systemic. They are very flexible and very gray areas. There are many gray areas, and it's not exactly how everyone thinks. Yes, some parts of the system are systemized, but some parts of the system are very subjective. There are many gray areas, and there are few people, not many, but few people who have really used all these workarounds or the loopholes in the system to their benefit. So there are many loopholes, many gray areas, but by and large, generally, the things that I told you, that's how things unfold.
So there's also a comment from Dr. Saima Aleem that I second your opinion that dynamics are different in Pakistan and postgraduate is highly stressed and they don't let us survive and strive for as a general dentist.
I think
Right.
what she means is survive and thrive as a general dentist. So
Yeah,
the
exactly.
problem is it's not them. I would say, well, it is them, but it's up to you to observe and decide. Yes, what they're telling you is their perspective, but it's for you to evaluate how true or how valid it is. Because for me, uh, it's not a valid what do you call it? I would say it's a propaganda. It's forcing you to do something that you don't really need. So it's up
And you
to
don't
you.
really want also.
Yes. So then why are you depending on that? Just step outside your comfort zone, go set up your practice, and get going. Why do you have to run after the university people? You don't need to.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're a good clinician, and you are, and now people are getting very much improved on marketing, you can, that's all you need to be a successful clinician. You don't need a third
Well,
part.
I totally second you, Dr. Abbas, that working for yourself is much more productive and fruitful than working for someone else for a longer duration of time. So one should have his own practice rather than going to after the universities and all that.
So there's a question on possibilities to join postgraduate study and scholarships and move with family.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not an immigration or travel consultant, so I will not go into the details of visa or family and all that. I would rather refer this to the people who deal and specialize in these areas. Someone like OSPAC Pakistan, OSPAC International. You can contact them. Generally, there are many postgraduate opportunities. Again, as I said, I will repeat my words so that you guys can really follow and have it sink in. It doesn't have to be a master's. Postgraduate means anything that you do after graduation,
Exactly.
right? That's what postgraduate means. You can do a certificate, you can do a diploma, you can do a degree, and everything will be a graduate.
Post graduation.
So you can choose if you are choosing to use that, and that's what I get from this question by Gulshat because she's looking to move with family. They say
Hmm.
so. You are asking about a study visa. So for a study visa, you look for the college programs, you look for university programs, pick a program of your choice, and I think yes, I think there is an option of spouse and family support in that visa, but how it unfolds I don't know because that's not my area of expertise. So so pick a
Well,
program that is relevant. Many
hmm,
times student visas get rejected because you pick the wrong program, and the visa officer will say I don't see the relation. Like for example, dental assisting, some dentists they get try to get admission in dental assisting to get the visa, and their visas get rejected. So why are you going for a dental assisting program when you're already a dentist? Sayyida Meher Raza, please explain equivalency process in more detail for those applying for immigration. The equivalency process has 5 steps. So the first step is the NDEB profile. You have to make a profile. This is just paperwork profile, and I will, if you guys can post your email addresses in the comment box. Is there a way to save the comments, Dr. Rashid?
yeah, these comments will be displayed once this stream goes live on YouTube in 10 to 20 hours. They will be visible.
Okay, so what I will do is if you can take down my email address, you can send me your emails and I will send you some information, or and I can also, in fact, I will share that link here. If I will share that, that's a better option. Sideline.
I think that is much better, right?
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that is much better if they can contact directly on email.
So I have shared this link on the chat. Can everyone see it?
Let's see.
I've posted a link on the private chat
Okay, that's on the private chat.
of StreamYard. Or do
Okay,
you want on the StreamYard chat? I just posted a link.
okay. Yeah, that's visible on the private chat, but I think that won't be visible here.
Can you put
Uh,
it there, please?
yeah, yeah, I will. I will. Just wait a minute. This is.
Yep. So this will address equivalency process questions, but let me summarize it. It's a 5-step process. The first step is a profile. NDEB profile takes about a year to get done. So that's why if you're these days they have closed it, so you cannot obviously once you cannot do step number 1, you cannot proceed. So so this takes a year to do. These days it's closed. Maybe they will open in the near future for new candidates. This takes about a year. This is just paperwork. They will want all your originals and they will verify and then they will send you the originals back. And they want it from in the university envelope. So you have to get the university's envelope, a sealed envelope, and then mail it from the country of your residence.
Mhm.
Then
So is there any company through which they can do all this procedure, or they can do it by themselves also?
they have to do it by themselves.
By themselves. Okay.
Yes. So they have the university will give you the sealed envelope, but
Okay.
then you have to manually, you or your representative has to mail it to NDEB
Okay.
from the original country. Some people made the mistake of getting the envelope. They traveled to Canada and they mailed it in Canada. The NDEB rejects it.
Okay. Okay.
So it has to be mailed from the country of origin. That's step number one. Takes about a year. Step number two is the exam number one. Exam number two, exam number three. Three exams in the middle. Okay. This is called AFK, Assessment of Fundamental Knowledge. It's a 300 MCQ based question. Um, and we offer online courses to prepare people for this exam. Then step number two is assessment of clinical judgment. It is also a theory paper based exam, but it revolves around cases and radiographs.
Okay.
We also prepare for this course in an online. The third one is the clinical skills. This is the one of the most difficult parts. Uh, every exam has its different challenge. The first one is an MCQ based exam, so you really have to go be really nice at choose the best answer. The second one is a judgment exam with negative marking. So again, it's a different challenge. It's case-based, radiograph-based. And then the third one is the clinical skills, which is very expensive to do, takes a bit of time. But again, patience, commitment is what this is all about. So after you've done these three exams, then there's a last exit exam, which all graduates, even Canadian graduates and the foreign trained, everyone takes this last exam. And
So
then
that's
you
step
are
number
certified.
five. That's the fifth step.
Yes. So there are four exams, but five steps. I mentioned the profile separately because it takes a year. So it's a separate step. So you have to understand five steps, four exams. The three of them are the equivalency process, but the last one is the one that everyone writes to get certified.
The
Once you
exit
are
one.
once you are certified, then you get license. Your certification is not your license. The NDB certifies you that you are qualified to acquire a license, and then your provincial royal college will give you a license. So that's what the process is like. Usually takes about, if you are consistent and patient and everything goes well, on an average takes about 2 to 2.5 years to finish it. There's people who have done it in about 9 months. There's people who have never been able to finish it. But most of the people lie somewhere in between. If someone gets PR of Canada before getting equivalency to dentist, they can someone work as a dental assistant there along with cutting. Well, yes, you can, but generally people of dental background, they tend to make life more complicated for themselves by focusing on just working in dentistry. So I would say work wherever you can find work. Don't just focus on dentistry. It's good if you can, good. It's good to be able to get education. Whatever you do, it's always good to get trained in that because you learn a lot. So if you want to be an assistant, I would say because there's two levels of, there's dental assistant level 1 and then level 2. So level 1 is a chairside assistant. He cannot do intraoral procedures like taking impressions or polishing teeth and stuff like that. A level 2 assistant can do a few more things. So then there's HARP certification that you need to be able to take radiographs. So you will always, it's always better to go through some formal program to do something properly. So you have the choice of being a level 1. You can, without just being a dentist, you can work as a chairside assistant. Yes, you can. Many times people prefer a level 2. So it's a very subjective situation. Many times people prefer to study uh, assisting, and then go for assisting if they have to. If you have to do something in the meantime, yes, you can assist, you can study assisting, you can take another course, you can study office admin, you can work as a front desk. There's a few things you can do within the dental practice. There's this thing they call a treatment coordinator. You can work as a treatment coordinator, and the job of the treatment coordinator is basically to be the consultant between the patient and the doctor. The treatment coordinator does everything, is the person between the dentist and the patient. So they're coordinating their
So,
case management.
so that means the duties like educating the patient uh, or sharing the profile with dentist, or what
Yeah.
is exactly the
So
work?
the dentist just does the clinical work. You do
Okay,
the consultation part.
okay.
So
Just the consultation.
basically, the consultant is the treatment coordinator is the consultant.
Okay. That's
So people who call themselves consultant in Pakistan are treatment coordinators in Canada.
okay. So let's proceed further.
It's a joke not to offend anyone.
Okay. Okay, if anyone is there a gap of between these examinations, also these four exams that you have told? Like if I clear the part one, the first exam.
Every exam is held twice a year,
Okay.
and usually they are held in sets of, like, obviously there are three exams, right? 6 months apart.
Hmm.
So if you passed one exam in a certain cycle, then you can go for the next exam in the next cycle.
So there is a waiting list, right, for all that. You can get enrolled and wait for your turn.
Yes, and because it's becoming now, everything has been messed up by the COVID scenario. So
Yeah.
now um, they canceled one exam. They canceled the step 3 this year in the middle of the year. So they held it only once, the third exam, but they held the first two exams. They compensated, so they held it twice. So there will be a large pool now, a large backlog waiting for the next exams, and their capacity to hold the exams is also limited. So they cannot take everyone um, into the process together. So that it will take now a longer time to clear the backlog. The time Gulshat Yerkojayeva, Gulshat Yerkojayeva, the time you generally need is 2 to 2.5 years.
Okay. So it takes about 2.5 years almost.
Yes. 2 to 2.5 years. Because sometimes you might not be successful in your first attempt of every exam, right? You might need to rewrite.
Okay.
And,
Okay, so we were talking about the duration of exam. So every exam is held two
twice.
times a year, biannually, right? And if I'm lucky enough, then I'll get maximum. I can give two exams in 1 year, right? If I'm
Yeah.
lucky enough. Yeah.
Previous no, you can actually give all three in 1 year,
Okay.
because because exam number two exam number one is a prerequisite for both 2 and 3.
Okay.
But
Fine.
exam number two is not a prerequisite for exam number 3.
Okay.
So you can write, theoretically you can appear in both 2 and 3 after one.
Okay. So
So
both
it
at
is
the same time. Yeah.
there's a few weeks apart.
Few weeks apart. Okay.
Some people have done it. It is not a recommended, it's like an adventure. We generally don't advise because the average person cannot handle the stress of both.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
like one of our instructors, he did it. He completed the whole process in 9 months. One of our previous instructors, one of our current instructors, completed the process in 9 months.
The whole up till the exit one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Dr. Bas, if we talk about the expenditure or the fee of all these exams, what exactly is the fee? That is also a main concern among the dentists here.
Let's go back to the 5 steps.
Yeah.
$1,000. I'm rounding off amounts, okay? Please.
Okay.
$1,000, about 1,500. So 2,000, 3,500.
$3,500.
Um, 10,000
$10,000 for fourth
for the
exam,
third exam, for the clinical exam,
for the
right?
clinical one.
This is the exam fee.
Okay.
You add, so where did we get? We got to about, say, about $15,000. $15,000 for exam fee,
Okay.
one attempt for each exam. Okay.
So
Now
one
you
attempt.
will
Okay.
now now you will need to prepare, take courses. So about, as far as side or our center is concerned, 2,000, 2,500 for the first exam, 2,000, 2,500 for the second exam, 5,000, uh, about 7,000 for the third exam. So 5 and 7 is 12. Okay,
Okay. $12,000 for preparing for these exams for training.
12 plus 15, 27. Now you
27,000.
will need equipment for your clinical exam, about
Okay.
at least $10,000.
What sort of equipment? I
All
mean,
equipment, all instruments, everything, handpieces, curing light, loop, material,
so one should has his own equipment. All these things.
everything, everything.
Okay.
And by Canadian standards, you cannot bring from Pakistan.
Uh-huh.
You
So
can bring, but you will have to buy again.
yeah,
Bec-
exactly, because it won't be as per standards.
Yeah, so don't waste your time. Um, so add 10,000 to the 37,
Uh,
and
okay.
miscellaneous round about 40 to 50,000. Uh, you're looking at the
That
total.
is okay. The fee that you have told is that is for one attempt. If you are
Oh,
good enough,
yes.
you will clear it. That 15,000 is for one attempt. Otherwise, you have to repeat it.
But here's the important thing. When I say 40 to $45,000,
Mhm.
let's keep that in mind. Now process that. That you don't need it on day one. You don't
Mhm.
need this money together.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be overwhelmed with it. Oh, where will I get 40 to $45,000? There is enough opportunity because this is spread over 2 years.
Okay.
So step number one requires only, sorry, step number two, which is exam number one,
Exam
will
number
need
one.
a maximum. Again, I'm rounding off figures and I'm going on the higher end, $4,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
Okay. The second one will require something similar, $3,000 to $4,000. So here you have to be, you're breaking it down and you can digest it in pieces. Okay. And then in the past, there wasn't much financial support available. Now things are changing. Banks are lending money, and you
Okay.
can access any shortage of funds. You can have access to them, or you can earn the money while you're working.
The loans that you have told about, are they interest-free loans or do we have to pay a certain amount
No,
of
nothing
interest?
interest free, Dr. Rush. But there are low interest loans.
Okay. 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 Okay, Dr. Abbas, I had been seeing a lot of your activities, and you have also mentioned it in your talk just a few minutes ago that you are also giving training as per Canadian standards because you had been there for quite a long time and you have trained, mashallah, a lot of students and who have cleared the licensing and the exit exams there. So, can you briefly tell the Dentoscope audience, these youngsters who wish to come to Canada, about the institution, your institution,
Yes,
who is
so
training?
we started in 2017 when we started realizing over the years. I went to Canada in 2012, and over the next 3 to 4 years, we realized how much less information and and how much of wrong information is out there, how much lack of guidance is there over things that affect your life. So we started a project with the intention of helping people get the right information and put it in the right perspective. Sometimes you can have the right piece of information, but you can have a completely wrong context of that fact or a wrong understanding of that. So that's why context is also important. So we started this project. We looked at the challenges. There were some support in platforms available, but there were a lot of gaps, and we studied all those support platforms very carefully, and we saw how we can bridge or plug those gaps, and then we launched the Canadian integration by dental education side, what we call it Canadian integration by dental education. That's why we called it Canadian integration, because integration is much more than just passing the exam.
Mhm.
Integration is you're mentally understanding the environment. Integration is you have your compass, your roadmap to this process, and that's what we focus on. Helping people get a better in-depth understanding of what life in Canada is all about, including, not limited to, dentistry. So we try to give a bigger picture, a better understanding of how the dynamics of professional and personal life unfold in Canada. So that's why we called it Canadian integration, because we aim to integrate people. Yes, we offer training for all these exams, for the fundamental knowledge, for the clinical judgment and clinical skills, um, but we try our best to help people get a better understanding of the profession and life in Canada.
Okay, okay. So, does this side, your institution, which programs does it offer? I mean,
It offers
regarding.
preparation for AFK, it offers preparation for ACJ, it offers uh, preparation for ACS. So, and plus we offer some continuing education programs as well.
Okay, okay, okay. Those
Research, there's a
only.
question for research-based programs.
Yeah.
Saima Alim, I would recommend that you start off by exploring University of Toronto and University of McGill. They have some research programs. That should be your starting point.
Mhm. Okay. So you were telling about those programs, your programs there.
Yeah. So these are the programs that they require for equivalency process, and we can help them with preparing for all these exams.
Because as a fresh graduate, like you have also graduated from Pakistan, so the work ethics here are quite different from the ethics there in their Canada. So you have to learn quite a new things, quite new work ethics to get to clear all these exams, obviously.
It's not just
So,
work ethics, it's also how you process the information. We've studied the same textbooks that
yeah.
everyone studied, so they're not teaching any other different type of dentistry over there. Okay,
Mhm.
but some concepts, some approaches definitely differ, some interpretations differ, some of the ways that we process information and we teach, they differ. Many of the things that are practiced, our problem is we lack in implementation.
Mhm.
We don't lack
Exactly.
in knowledge, we lack in implementation of that knowledge, because our is practice is always very different from theory, but our practices are too different from there's a real wide gap. We I don't know what we practice over there. So so that's the thing, that for example, in our prosthodontics education, we are taught to make acrylic dentures,
Mhm.
and we call them partial dentures. Well, guess what? There is nothing like that partial denture in North American dentistry.
Mhm.
What we make is not a partial denture. A partial denture is the only partial denture that they know of here is a cast partial denture.
Yeah.
That's a partial denture. What we make is a joke. Those are not partial dentures. So, so our implementation, our we have systemic problems. So but fortunately, the newer generation is much more aware and knowledgeable,
Yes.
because today you know this. When we were in school, we didn't know this. We didn't know that what we are making is not a partial denture. We just learned later on, oh, this is just a space
For us,
maintainer.
for us, that was much more than a cast partial denture or a bridge or an implant.
It was made.
Simple.
It was made to be much more.
Yeah, exactly.
People in the house job, they didn't used to get exposure to endo, no crown cutting. Why the hell would someone who's completed his education not be able to cut a crown or not be able to do a root canal? Why are you depriving those students from that training? It's crime. It's criminal. Someone with a BDS degree with a house job should know how to prepare a crown, should know how to do an endo. It's criminal on the part of educators if they're depriving the students of this thing.
Okay, one more thing, Dr. Abbas. Like you have mentioned, all the steps, all the examinations. Also, once a student or one, let's suppose once I clear all that those exams, I have cleared the exit exam. What are the different options for me available now?
Clinical practice. You generally will start as an associate. Someone will hire
Okay.
you in their practice to work as a dentist. They will pay you about 40% of whatever you collect, um, and from there on, you can later on buy your own practice. You can build your own practice. Uh, Usually, that is not a problem because banks are willing to lend you the money. You don't have to
Okay.
have any money to build or buy a practice. That's a great help. I don't know how things are in Pakistan, by the way, Dr. Rashid, because
Well,
if
here the banks are also willing to pay you the loan, but people are very much afraid because paying back is quite a difficult thing. But Punjab government is giving too much loans, the interest-free loans also.
well, you see,
Uh,
a very strong message that I want to pass on to the audience through this conversation is that dentistry is basically a business.
hmm.
It's a business. You have to have the guts to step up, take that loan, and start your business.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
if you're gonna wait to collect money through an employment, it will
That's
take
not
you.
going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So just
Never.
take that leap of faith and start, and inshallah, things will unfold in the right way.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you that it is although it seems quite a huge mountain starting a practice, but you have to climb it. If not today,
Sooner you
after
start,
5 years, 10 years.
the sooner you start, the better it is.
Yeah, exactly. The better it is. So it doesn't matter if it is Canada or Pakistan or anywhere else in the world. You are a dentist. You have to do it.
If you if you if you were to do if you were to say count the top five dentists, top 10 dentists in the city,
Mhm.
successful general practitioners. So top 10 successful dental practitioners, um, I don't think that uh, every one of them has the post graduation, or every one of them has a title of a professor or something. No, you
Well,
just have to be a
I,
very good clinician and develop yourself clinically, and that's what a measure of success is. Your patients are the measure of your success. Your clinical success, as long as you're not practicing quackery, you're doing good dentistry, you have a good patient base, you practice ethically, you're a successful dentist.
Well, people should also think the young generation should also think that all those big names that you hear today, that you see, you admire, there was a day when they opened their own practice. That was the day one. They did it. So now you know them as a very high practitioners. So you also have to take the step, obviously.
And you have to find your own path. You should not depend on the system, because the system is faulty. So
Yeah.
if you keep following the system, you will keep getting frustrated. You have to learn to carve out your own path, because of what I said, that if I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, that maybe now people are training in the house job, they're doing crown preparations, they're doing root canals, but at our time they were discouraged from doing anything of this sort. But what's happening is you are being prevented from being successful. You're being prevented from having a futuristic, forward driven mindset. You you're being prevented, your skills are being cut down so that you are less capable of doing things in your clinic. So you have to overcome those hurdles, make yourself more able to do all this, and just go out and start and do things on your own. Take the initiative. It takes guts. It takes a lot of guts, but you have to do it for your own self.
So, Dr. Abbas, if we go back to your start in 2013, you mentioned that you went to Canada. So, and in 2017, you started this site. So, what was the first thing that you did when you went to Canada regarding the examination?
If I may add, Dr. Rashid, I would like to go back to when I graduated,
Hmm.
because the seeds were sown at that time. Because when I graduated, I immediately picked up a path that was not very common. In addition to starting off teaching at a school, immediately switched. I was switched to a management role in one of the dental colleges. So it was a coordinator role in administration, and my salary was twice the salary of a demonstrator.
Okay.
Right? So that I needed money, and I had to do something, but I also needed to be able to do that thing, right? So that's what I did. The other thing was my association with dental news. My
Hmm.
first formal job immediately after finishing my house job, even before I started teaching, was in dental news as a journalist. So I
So
think that's where.
all these things that you are telling, your initial experiences, well, these are totally different things that nobody else thinks about.
Exactly,
Just
exactly.
yeah.
And whenever I went into a direction, either I was amongst and less than 10, you can count those people in that space, in that area. So uh, or I was, in the case of dental photography, I was the only one doing that. So 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 I started with dental news, and there had been very few people who ever did that. And I'm not talking about casually getting your story published. I was a regular employee for 4 years, right? So and then when we went into marketing, there was very few people. We were amongst the pioneers who went into dental marketing. At that time, there was Dr. Farooq Aqil, there was Dr. Munis Mukhtar, there was Dr. Arsalan Sami, myself,
Mhm.
and my classmate, Dr. Atif Qureshi, and maybe one of our seniors, Dr. Salma. I remember 6 people at that time in that area, in that space, in Pakistan, in a country. So we were amongst the pioneers in that space. So we went to three. I went to 3M, worked there for 5 years. As far as dental photography is concerned, I was self-taught, and then I started teaching because my learning curve was steep, and I didn't. I wanted to give people a good head start when it comes to dental photography education. I was the only one in the whole country doing that from 2009 to 2012. So I've always tried to look at a niche, and people can do the same. After I came to Canada, I worked in a dental software company, and then I started my own media and marketing company. It's called C Factor. And for those who are, of you are interested in restorative dentistry, you probably know what C Factor is. Um, but I named it C Factor as in SEE because I worked on visual media. So that's what we did. And then my wife pursued her equivalency exams, whereas I supported her in her pursuits by all non-clinical means. I was working. I was picking up consulting and other projects through my company, and she finished her process in 2017. So it took her about 3 years, 2015, 16, and 17. Took her about 3 years to finish the process.
So
Two and a half.
meanwhile, during all these time period, you were also preparing or taking all those exams also.
No,
Meanwhile,
no. I I did not pursue that path. Uh, I got a diploma in marketing from McMaster University. So I was working and I was studying, but I was not studying dentistry.
okay,
I got a diploma in marketing from McMaster, and I got a graduate certificate in journalism from Sheridan College. And I also studied for 1 year. I also studied photography.
okay, okay.
So
So and then
my engagements have mostly been consulting projects, uh, and now we have our own projects.
well, this whole story is a totally different path, which I never heard of, or people don't think about being a dentist.
And I
That
did all
dentistry,
dentistry. I didn't leave dentistry. Everything
yeah,
was contained within dentistry. The scope of my work, I don't take it outside of dentistry.
yeah, exactly. And how okay, if we talk about side, that how if anyone he comes to Canada, how what is the criteria? Is there any specific criteria to take enrollment or admission in any of your courses?
Basically,
Regarding,
obviously, you have to be registered for your licensing exams,
okay,
or not registered. You can still take them as long as you are preparing, as long as you are working in that direction. You
okay,
can take the courses. There's no real prerequisite, but as long as you're a dentist, that's the prerequisite.
yeah. And one should be enrolled in all those examination, and then
They,
they can take it.
these courses are really helpful. There are people who can do it without any help, but then obviously it's best to save time and effort. If you have the guidance available, it's always best to use it.
Obviously, obviously. So, how do you conduct all these courses, these training programs regarding these Canadian examination? I mean, what's the duration of those exams or those training sessions?
Usually,
Or
the AFK exam, which is the part one, is about 5 months training,
okay,
and the judgment exam is a 2 months training approximately, and the skills exam is a 3 to 5 months training. Usually, the standard is 5 months.
okay, okay. And though the clinical exam, do you also conduct those clinical examination sessions also?
Yes,
Okay, okay. And what about those exit? So all these examinations, you
yes,
conduct
yes,
sessions for all these examinations.
yes.
And are there different trainers for all these examination or
Yes, we have a big team of instructors who train for different exams. So we also train for bench tests for the US many times. Many trainees are going for university bench tests in the United States. We train for them, those programs. Many people are going for university bench tests in Canadian universities. We train for those programs. Thank you, Farah. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling better. Namra, that's a lot of money. It's doable, Namra. That lot of money is not required in one go. You don't need it together. You can easily work your not easily. Nothing is easy in life, but it's doable. It's not impossible. So many other people do it. You can also do it.
okay, sir?
You
Can you share the your training center's name or some address or something like that in private so I can display it here also for those
it's the
who are
same
wishing.
link that I posted, Dr. Rashid. It's the
That's
same.
it's the
That
same. Yeah.
that
Okay. Okay.
that link takes you to our website,
Okay. Okay. That's good.
and
Good
and,
enough.
and this particular page introduces you to the Canadian system. But then you are free to explore the whole website and look at our courses and other offerings and everything else that we do.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Abbas, for
Thank
your
you. Thank
time,
you. I
precious
really
time.
appreciate all the efforts that you're doing, Dr. Rashid. The DentoScope is doing amazing things, and you're taking great initiatives. And I'm sure that these initiatives, most importantly, I think the biggest contribution you can make to someone's life is to help them think differently. If you can
Yeah,
help them think differently, you've made the change that you're looking for, because perception is reality. So as long as
exactly.
people have the right perception of things, everyone goes through ups and downs, but it's how you process it up here that makes it different. And I think you're making a great contribution towards that cause. And I
And
congratulate you for all your efforts. I really appreciate all that you're doing. And I look
thank you very
forward
much.
to staying in touch
And
and continuing to
And
help you.
I will also invite you if you could come here. We talked about it in February, but due to COVID, there was our meeting could not be held. So, inshallah, next time when you come, please do visit, and we will arrange some session or some course by you as well here at DentoScope, inshallah.
Definitely. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr.
All the
Abbas.
best. Take care.
All the
Bye bye.
best. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.